I've lost a lot in my lifetime, like many of you have. A car accident took away my wife and daughter. I lost my son, Bo, like many of you have done. But I'll be damned if I'm going to stand by and lose my country too, period.
And we began the interview with those first lines from Friday's debate, where Biden seemed resigned to a loss here in New Hampshire.
I'm just being realistic. I think it's always going to be an uphill fight. When you're running against two people who are neighboring senators, you know the deal. Bernie won here, the neighboring senator, by 20 points last time. So I think it is an uphill fight, but I think it's a fight we'll do well in.
But then you're going to be bucking history, because you know the history here. No one who's come in below second in Iowa, New Hampshire has ever won the nomination.
Well, no one has ever won the nomination without being able to get overwhelming support from the African-American community either. And so far, no one's been doing that but me. Look, the thing that changes this election is everybody in the Democratic Party is united on one thing. You have to beat Donald Trump. In order to do that, everybody knows you've got to bring out the black vote and the brown vote, and you got to be able to do it. I've been able to do that so far, so I don't think it's viewed the same way as it has been in the past.
You've been taking that right to Mayor Pete, and basically been arguing that he's not ready to be president. I did a debate with you back in 2007 where you said another candidate wasn't ready to be president. It was Barack Obama. You were asked, is he ready? You said, I think he can be ready, but right now I don't believe he is. The presidency is not something that lends itself to on-the-job training.
I think that I stand by the statement.
Well, let's get something straight here. I didn't attack Pete. Pete's been attacking me. He's been saying that the reason we're in the problem we're in now is because of the recent past. That's 8 years of Obama and me. I don't get that. I don't understand that. And I think he has completely misunderstood or misrepresented my record. I've done a great deal. I've gotten an awful lot done, both as a senator and as vice president. And he talks about him being ready. Well, I managed a $900 billion recovery act with no waste or fraud in it. We bailed out his city. I led the fight. The president turned to me and said, get Detroit out of its mess. I know how to handle a city. I was able to get Detroit back on its feet. That's why the mayor of Detroit endorsed me. I've been able to get the chemical weapons treaty passed. I was responsible in large part for the what happened in Paris with John Kerry and so on. So I don't understand how those things don't matter. And I don't understand when they talk about the past why Barack was such a lousy president. I thought he was a pretty damn good president.
But why
that's
is nominating Pete Buttigieg a risk?
Well, because Pete Buttigieg has been nothing more, and he's a good guy. I like him. And he's a smart guy. But he's been the mayor of a city smaller than the city we're in now. And so what has he done? Who has he pulled together? Does he know any of the foreign leaders? Has he been able to? I mean, Barack Obama was a different story. Barack Obama came from a large state. He was a United States senator. He had run before. He'd been involved in international. He had a clear vision of what he thought the world should look like, and so on. So, but it's a very different situation.
Your campaign put out a pretty tough video on the mayor earlier today that also referenced the fact that he had fired an African-American police chief and forced out an African-American fire chief. Are you basically saying that Mayor Buttigieg has a race problem?
No, I'm saying he hadn't been able to unify the black community. That's what I'm saying. The most senior member of the city council, African-American, I ever met, endorsed me. I never met him, never asked for his endorsement. And so I think, look, in order to win, George, you're going to have to be able to win states like Pennsylvania. You're going to have to be able to win Florida. We're going to have to be able to win a lot of places that, in fact, have very diverse populations. And so the assertion that he's ready across the board, I don't see it. I haven't seen it yet.
He's fired back today. The campaign said that the fact that you put out that video says a lot more about where you are in this race than his record as mayor.
No, well, look, he's the one that's been attacking me, George. I never said a word about him. But he's talking from the beginning about how I don't have a record to run on, that Biden, all the problems were in the past. And it used to be Barack and me. Now he found out how popular Barack is, so it's now just me, as if I wasn't any part of that administration. And so I was responding to, I haven't done this, I responded to his attacks on me.
You've also talked about the risk of Democrats taking on the label democratic socialism in a national election. Were you surprised last night when only Senator Klobuchar joined you in that concern?
No, I wasn't surprised, but I think it's just a reality. I mean, look, I'm not putting the label on Bernie. Bernie calls himself a democratic socialist. Now, you've been around, George, as much as anybody. You're going to win with that label? You're going to help somebody in Florida win with the label democratic socialist? Because it's going to go all the way down the line. That's what's going to happen. You can win in North Carolina. You can win in Pennsylvania. You're going to win in those states in the Midwest? It's not, I didn't put the label on Bernie. Bernie calls himself a democratic socialist.
So you think flat out Democrats can't defeat Trump if they have to defend socialism?
I think it's going to be incredibly more difficult. I'm not going to say, look, if I don't get the nomination and Bernie gets it, I'm going to work like hell for him. But I tell you what, it's a bigger uphill climb. Running as a senator or a congressperson or as a governor on a ticket that calls itself a democratic socialist ticket.
The day after President Trump was acquitted, one of your former colleagues and friends in the Senate, Chuck Grassley, asked for the financial records of your son, Hunter Biden, from the Treasury Department. This doesn't seem like it's going away.
Well, I don't think it's going to go anywhere, though. And look, the worst thing that happened was acquitting Trump when they acknowledged that he interfered. He got a foreign power to try to get a foreign power to say something negative about me or my son. A foreign leader wouldn't do it. They didn't even ask him to dig up dirt. They keep saying that. They said, just say you're opening an investigation. So look what's happened. I'm worried this guy's got just a free pass now on anybody.
So did his strategy work against you?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't see any evidence of it working against me. Look, when you're in a situation where you still have a majority of the people think that you should have been convicted, that's a hell of a way to start to run.
You know, Mayor Pete gave a pretty moving speech when he was asked about this last night, talking about President Trump weaponizing a son against his father.
To be the kind of president, to be the kind of human being who would seek to turn someone against his own son, who would seek to weaponize a son against his own father, is an unbelievably dishonorable thing.
What does that feel like to you, to see your son become such an issue in this campaign used against you?
I can't let my anger overcome the desire and the need to have to heal this country. And so I got to move beyond me and beyond my family. And because it's about your family, it's about everybody else's family, not mine. And the investigation of the company my son went on the board with had already been over. There wasn't anything underway. It's just pure sham. But that's the way Trump works. But it's not going to work on me. I'll be damned. I've been hit a lot. But it's not going to work on me, and I'll be damned if I'm going to walk away and let it and not take this country back.
You had a slogan in 2012. Osama bin Laden is dead and General Motors is alive. Doesn't President Trump have the opportunity to have a version of that slogan in 2020? Baghdadi is dead, Soleimani is dead, the stock market's at record highs, unemployment's at record lows.
The world's in disarray. We're losing our allies. We have no help in the Persian Gulf. Our NATO allies have made a moral equivalence between us and Iran. We're in a situation where the rest of the world wonders who in God's name we are. This is a guy who embraced Putin, other thugs who are just flat dictators like Kim Jong-un. All our allies are wondering, where is the United States of America? The idea that he's made us stronger, the idea that he's increased our capacity to defend ourselves, the idea that we can lead the world like we did before is absolutely bizarre. He has fundamentally shifted our role in the world.
What are the consequences of a victory by President Trump in 2020?
George, I honest to God believe they're going to change the nature of who we are for a long, long time. Our children are listening. The idea of a man who can belittle people, go on dividing us based on race, religion, ethnicity, based on all the things that in fact make up America, is just incredibly divisive. You see these white supremacists coming out from under the rocks. He has yet once to condemn white supremacy, the neo-Nazis. He hasn't condemned a darn thing. He has given them oxygen. And that's what's going to continue to happen. That's who this guy is. He has no basic American value. He doesn't understand the American code.
You need a comeback to be able to make that case against President Trump.
Well, yeah, no, I do. I do. I have some portion of all of the constituencies that make up this party. I think I'm more ready to be able to defeat Donald Trump and, equally importantly, George, elect a Democratic Senate. It's not going to be enough just to beat him. We have to change the Senate in order to get things done. Politics has gotten too dirty, too mean, too ugly, and it's only being inflamed by this president. And so we not only have to beat him, we have to be able to bring along the Democratic Party, not just at the Senate level, but in the local races. We can do that. We can do that, I believe.
Thanks for your time today, Mr. Vice
Thank
President.
you, George.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.